Well, that's cold. What's up YouTube, my name's Quickie, welcome back to the channel. I am having the worst day ever. Everything is going to pot. Everything is going to pot. Today what I was going to do was get the engine mounted, and I made some really nice little removable engine mounts that screw onto bosses in the frame. Trouble is I can't find them anymore. I've put them somewhere safe. I can't. What's the time? 1:45. I was in here at 9:30. I've just spent the whole morning searching. I can't find them anywhere. All the stuff for ASBO is normally in boxes over there. However, when we started on the ZZR, it was just a case of bundle stuff up and get it out of the way so I could, you know, get the ZZR in and try and make a bit of space to work. And I put them somewhere and I don't know where they are. Don't know where they are at all. I've been through all this lot. Every bin's been out. I've been under here, through every box. And I've got an awful lot of crap in here, it has to be said. I even went across the top there, although I can't see me putting them up there. So the only thing I can think is it's sort of over there somewhere. There's two of them. It's a little semicircle of steel with a plate on the side with a hole in it, and it looks quite nice. So, if anybody feels like going back through the ZZR videos and watching everything, keep your eye out. So anyway, I thought I can't do that, I'll do the seat instead because I'm not happy with it. I've got problems there as well. Let me show you. Oh, we'll just shove him on there just for now. Get an idea, it will be spaced up a little bit because there's no rubbers in there at the minute, but he's going to sit something like that. I do like the tail from the back, it's all like in proportion and everything else. I do like it. However, when you come to start looking at seating, which is what, because what I was going to do was brace it across here, brace it across there, and then put in the under tray, because that way I can start working on the hump and get the seat pan sorted and all that sort of stuff. However, we've got a problem. So this is the original Bandit seat. What were you looking at here? Can you, yeah, sort of. Right, that's the original Bandit seat. I'm not using it, obs. Here is kind of what I was going for that width. That's why this is sort of that distance. However, it necks in an awful lot here where your legs are. And if I sit on it, I know there's no padding or anything else on it at the minute, and it does come up to the tank here. This bit is straight. It needs to go in a lot more and then come out to about there. So I thought, oh, all right, well, you know, I guessed at the time. So, I went and got the S-Rad off Taz. That's the seat off of it, and it is, again, is a lot narrower here. It's not going to be like that. It's not going to be a flat seat that I'm using. It's going to sort of start up the tank, then come down to the seating height, and then it's going to go up the seat hump at the back. So it's all going to be shaped, and I want, you know, minimal amounts of padding on it, a bit like this. But this bit of the frame needs to go in. And the ZZR seat, just to, so you sort of get the gist, it's going to go up the tank a bit like that and come up here. So it's only going to be quite a short seat hump. This one does come out to the sides, look, and he is dead comfortable to sit on and ride. But it's that bit there. I think I've messed up. It's amazing how different the seats are, actually. It really, really is. But that's the sort of thing that I want to go for. I mean, obviously this will be down, but I'm not chopping the seat in half because I need that. It does kind of come up to it. I don't know. Actually, let's see if we can pad it out and sit on it. Right, forget the ZZR seat. Let's go with the S-Rad one, which ain't gonna do. What we got? What we got? No, I can't do that. My leg's gonna be there. Okay, this could all just fall straight through the middle of it, but you know, we are on paddock stands on a workbench. That'll be all right. Doesn't look dodgy at all, does it? Right. So seat's there. And if it came up at the back of that seat into the hump, that would be fine. Tyres are currently about 4 inches off the deck. So to reach what would be the floor, it's a little bit of a stretch. But I suppose if it's 4 inches up, it's going to be about there. And you can feel that bar on the back of your thigh. But when like you're up with the pegs, I need to change these clip-ons. I need something with a rise to it, so it comes up the front of the yoke, and then you get the handlebar. But will be about like that, I would say. And you can't really feel, you can't feel these bits on your leg. It's only when your leg's down. But I suppose the seat's going to come up to the edge of that, isn't it? I think we'll probably be alright, actually. I think. I do like the view from the back on this. I do. It's all the right proportions and stuff. It's just the height of the seat and whether it clears. So ignore how it goes in here. It will come out like that to the edge. So maybe start a couple of inches up the tank, draw a line down to here, fill that corner in, and then it would run on the outside of the tube all the way back around the hoop. Would that work? Like that? Yes. Right, maybe I don't need to change it. Right, let's get some braces in here. I only need to use the thin stuff because it's just like a cross member. And then we can look at getting the under tray sorted. Yeah, let's do that. Alright, new battery time. They don't last very long, these ones. Right, okay, so 0M. So I want to put a cross brace in across here. We'll call that 275. Right. Right, slight change in plan. I might just be running with one. I might just do the one, actually. I mean, this is basically where you're going to be sitting. All the rest of this is just to carry the seat hoop and some sort of latching mechanism. So I think one's going to be fine. So that's 88. 88. So I think that is going to be about right. So to that edge is 240. So that's 240 as well. Right, so that's where he's going. Let's put a mark on there so I know. And that gives me the orientation as well. I did offset it very slightly because I want the underside of this to pretty much come flat if I can get away with it. So the cope is very slightly off centre rather than in the middle. That's a thinner tube than this. If I put it in the middle, there would be a definite step up. But I want to try and keep it quite flat. There is going to be a tiny little ridge there because I think the undertray is only going to be like 1.2 or 1 mil or something. But we'll see, we'll see. Right, welder. Right, I'm just doing a bit of a sanity check. I know I've measured it from here to here, and I've also done this angle, but looking down on it from top, the top of that tube that I've just welded in marries up with the top of this tube here on the frame, so I'm happy it is all square. It certainly measures okay and looks all right. Just tacked it in place for now, and now I've got to figure out what I'm going to do the rest of it, which sounds easy. I'm going to do it in 2 bits, I think. Just because I'm going to do it in 2 bits, I think. Because it's the front bit that's going to be awkward. Let me explain. Right, I can't find my little LED light for the back, so a roll of wiring is going to have to do, and I've got a battery. So, this bit we're probably going to do in 2 sections for a couple of very good reasons. First being is I kind of know what I want to do with the back. Second reason is I'm still chewing over the front bit. So on this bike we are going to be running an airbox. Have I got the old one here? Where is he? It's horrible. Well, that's part of it. Where's the rest of it? Oh, I can't find that either. I hope you're keeping an eye out. Is that the airbox? Yeah, that's the airbox. So he normally sits in the frame, sort of like that, in there. So you can see the sort of distance we've got to the carbs. The thing that I hate about these is that this bit sticks past the frame, and this one will do as well. So I'm going to be making my own, which will be interesting, but I'm going to be making my own. So he's going to live in here, but he's also going to come up under here and probably fill in this void underneath the tank. On Steve-O's bike, Jixit, we squirreled the battery up underneath there because he's running pod filters. So you do away with all that, but I want to run an airbox purely because we've got CV carbs on this, and you stick pod filters on a CV carb and it's always a bit bleh. It's horrible to tune and get running right, and you know, it's rubbish. So we are going to run an airbox, but I'm going to need to make that, and I'm going to need to make it fit this shape. I've got a cool idea as how to finish off the sides and whatnot, but I don't want to do this front bit until I know what's going on there, because I'm going to obviously have to have a cutout for the airbox to go in and blah 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 blah. You're probably still not going to be able to get it out with the carbs on, which is a bit of a pain, but it will look a damn sight nicer than that. So we're just looking at the back end bit here really, which in part is why that one is there, because I can stitch it to the underside of that and then make the front one come in and marry up and join it, and you'll never know if there's a join there. So this back bit, what we've got to go in there? Where is it? I lost, oh here we go. I hope you lot are still looking for my engine mounts. I'm still looking, I can't see. So in the back here, I want as much space as I can, because I'm going to have a battery, an M unit, I've got a hider starter solenoid, which will probably go in here somewhere as well. You know, junk and stuff like that basically. So this isn't my rear light, but it's going to be about the right sort of size. Actually, I've got a thing. Oh, I don't know, would that do it? No. How about him? Oh, that could be better. Right, okay. Ish. Basically, I've got a rear light, which is like a real skinny, it's the same sort of thing we was going to use on Jixit. It's a real skinny LED light that does both stop and just like your normal rear light. There's like 2 elements in it or something. However, because this is sloped and is going to be essentially plated off, we're going to have to sink a tube in so I can shove the light in and have it sort of pointing directly backwards instead of down at an angle. So there is going to be a tubing that's going to be about like yay, and it'll be sort of right in the middle of this radius, so everything marries up and looks good. This is the size of the battery. I'm not going lithium. I could, well, I don't know, I could. It just depends how big they are. But lithium, I don't know. This is a lead acid. The trouble with these is you've got to keep them upright. If you get a gel one, you can stick it any which way you want, and they tend to be the same sort of size. So, I can't shove this up under the tank because that's where the air box is going to go. So this is going to need to go in either like that or like that. Something like that, just so it clears. And then that gives me space down the front here for M unit and starter solenoid and anything else I want in there really. If I go with this, it is going to need a frame to sit on, and I'm going to need space to have my cabling coming out of here, and then I'm also going to have rear indicators and a number plate light, which is probably going to be on the tail tidy. I think I'm probably going to do something similar to what I did on Jixit, but that's got to go in there. So this essentially up to the front face, that's where the seat is going to have to come up, because otherwise you're not going to get anybody in it. So for those reasons, I'm just going to do this back bit and stitch it to the underside of that, I reckon. So I'll need to make a template, don't I? Alright, this is just a starter for 10, but my bit of card is only just big enough. And I mean like only just. So I've got some magnets holding it in place, some of these little rare earth magnets in just an old bit of alley. And if you just use that to sort of do a brass rubbing really, same sort of idea. But you get an idea as to where you're going. Right, it's not perfect, and it is going to be too big because this is obviously to the outside edge. Yeah, the very bottom of this tube, whereas we're going to be doing it in like 1 mil, maybe 1.2. It depends how thick the stuff is that I've got. So this is going to need to be shortened up a little bit, but this should get us started. Right, let's have all this off. Come on. Right, okay, I know that the angle's going to be thrown off by the camera, but just trying to show you what I'm doing here. So if I put a straight edge across here where the tube runs, it is offset because I didn't want, yeah, I've got a thinner tube here and a thicker tube here, so there is a gap between the bottom of this tube and the bottom of that tube. And if I stick a straight edge across there and put another rule there, there's about a 2 mil gap. Okay, going to be using 1.2 mil material to do this under tray. I'll probably do it 1.2 actually, just because I think that's what I've got. So obviously you've got to allow for material depth as well, the thickness of the sheet that's going on here. So if I move my rule over, so the end of the scale basically touches the centre line of the tube, which I believe is about there. Something like that, and then it really is just a case of guessing to a degree But if I'm using, say, 1mm, that means I've got to take 5mm off that template all the way around, because you can just measure 1mm on this scale from the top edge of this scale, and that will get you an idea as to how much you need to take off. So if I was going 1 to 1.2, I would say I've got to take off about 5mm. That still leaves me a tiny little gap that I can get some weld in. So I'm going to draw a line inside the template, which is like 5mm, you know, off the size. Do I cut it? I'm probably not going to cut the template down. I'll wait till I get down to the steel, and then I'll just sneak up on it, because I need to get this bend in it properly first. I need to measure all that. So that's what I'm doing. Right, 5mm. I probably didn't explain that very well at all, but I hope you get the idea. Oh, actually, that's a straight line, isn't it? It's a 5mm. If there is a curve, I'm trying to go to the middle of the curve. This hasn't got to be exact. We can trim it up and get it a bit more accurate when we come to do it in steel. Right, I've got a bit of steel. It's 1mm thick. The edges are all raggedy and stuff because I didn't grind them off. There's my template. Oh, actually, do I take that border off now? We measured it. We know it's got to be there or thereabouts. And we know it's too big at the minute anyway. I'm chopping it off. Right, so it's all chomped out. I've marked the same side. If there are any differences side to side, you know, I don't really care. It's going to get trimmed up anyway. I could fold this right down the middle and just make sure it's perfectly symmetrical, but there's going to be a little bit of trimming involved anyway, I'm sure. Just dress it up the DA just to make it look a bit more presentable. Next step is going to be to bend it. I need something to bend it round that's that radius. Oh, what have I got? Right, don't laugh, but it might just work. It might. It is a little bit on the small side, but whenever you bend stuff around something else, it always tends to come up a little bit big anyway, because it kind of springs back and opens up. It is only 1mm though. I don't know. It's worth giving it a bash. So next step will be just to mark this up where the bend needs to start, clamp everything down around the fire extinguisher and get bending it. Only trouble is that's going to have to wait, because it is now 4:45 and I said I would leave now. Basically Sam's out on town. I've got to go home and get some dinner ready for me and Jake. Cold coffee. It's never a good one. So anyway, that's where I'm going to leave it for this one. I'm annoyed I lost so much time, but I've got a plan for the rear end. So that's what we're just going to crack on with, I think. I will get some more steel and I'll make some more make some more mounts, and when I've got them I can set the engine in place, but none of that is going to slow me up doing this, so I'm just cracking on with it because it all needs doing. But he is hopefully going to go in there. I'm wondering how far up it sits. See, that's about spot on actually. Well, at least that bit there is. But anyway, that's where I'm going to leave it for this one. I do hope you well stay safe. We'll see you on the next one. Laters! Oh!